Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kirsti, and today's video is going to be a lot of fun because I am sharing with you 3 different Thanksgiving side dishes, and one of them is even made in the crock pot. This video is a part of a huge group collaboration that is hosted by Vickie Wright and Rebekah Picchi. So thank y'all so much for hosting. I will make sure to have both of their channels linked down in my description box below. And since this is a group collab, y'all know that there is a playlist down in the description box. I will have a link to that playlist. Make sure you go watch it and get tons of new Thanksgiving side dishes ideas. For our first side dish today, we are making a maple cinnamon roasted butternut squash. To a large mixing bowl, I'm adding in some butternut squash that I peeled and diced up earlier. Drizzle in a little bit of oil. For the maple syrup, I'm using this Maple Grove Farms sugar-free syrup, but feel free to use any kind of maple syrup or even just pancake syrup that you have in your refrigerator. Sprinkle in some nutmeg. And cinnamon. Give this a good toss because we want to make sure all of these butternut squash pieces are coated with that syrup and the seasonings. I have out my largest baking dish. Technically it's a pizza pan, but it's the largest one I have. And I just want to use the big one so I can make sure I can lay all these out in a single layer. After that's out on a single layer, we're just going to sprinkle with a little bit of salt and pepper. My oven is preheated to 450 degrees. We'll roast these for about 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, we'll take them out, give them a quick toss, put them back in for another 15 minutes or until that squash is nice and tender. And that's how we make cinnamon maple roasted butternut squash. Y'all, that recipe turned out so good. When my husband tried it, he said, "Kirsti, I could eat this on a regular basis." So y'all know if it is husband approved, it's good. So I know that on Thanksgiving, most of the time we always have rolls. Well, today I'm gonna be sharing with you something a little bit different. We are making keto cheddar biscuits. I'm starting this recipe out by adding in 4 eggs and whisking them together. To your eggs, add in 2 tablespoons of melted butter, a cup and 1/4 of almond flour, some salt, garlic powder, and baking powder. The recipe that I found online for these biscuits, it said that with this dough, you should be able to get 11 biscuits. So we're gonna see. How many of you, show of hands, whenever a recipe tells you that like you're gonna get 11 out of something, how many of you actually get that amount? Y'all let me know down in the comments if you're good at measuring it out. So as you can see, I actually got 7. I did not get 11, but that's okay. Mine just might take a little bit longer to cook in the oven, just because they are probably a little bit bigger than what the recipes were. But I just have them here on my baking sheet. I did line it with some parchment paper. So we're gonna put this in a 450 degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. You just wanna wait until it starts getting golden brown on top. Our biscuits are almost done. So I have some melted butter here in this cup. I'm adding in some parsley flakes and we will just brush this on top of the biscuits. And there we have our keto cheddar biscuits. So those biscuits actually turned out pretty good. They tasted really good. The only thing I would suggest is maybe making them a little bit smaller, because when I took them out of the oven, they did expand. So just take that into consideration when you make them. And last but not least, we are making honey glazed carrots in the crock pot. To my crock pot, I'm adding in 1 pound of baby carrots. The original recipe called for 2 pounds, but since it's just me and Tyler here today, I'm only gonna half the recipe. On top of that, I'm adding a couple spoonfuls of brown sugar. Drizzle on some honey. To cut some of that sweetness, I'm adding just a couple dashes of salt. I cut up about a half a stick of butter into these little slivers, and we're just going to sit that right on top. And that's it. We'll place our lid on and cook this on high for about 3 hours, or you can cook it on low for 5 to 6 hours. And that's how I make my honey glazed carrots. One great thing about making a side dish in the crock pot, especially for Thanksgiving, is that you can cook it for the 3 to 4 hours it takes, but then most crock pots and Instant Pots have a warm feature. So once it's done cooking, just turn it on warm and it'll keep it warm until you're ready to eat. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. I would love it if you are new here to subscribe and stick around. Thank you, Vickie and Rebekah, again for hosting this collaboration. Y'all make sure to go check out that playlist. Leave me a comment down below on what are some of your favorite Thanksgiving side dishes, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.